My family's enjoying being up in Ontario this week, and one thing I've been wanting to do for a few years is see if I can bike from my parents' farm near Stouffville, Ontario down to Lake Ontario. I'm gonna try and do that this morning. Should be fun. In 2015, Canada established the Rouge National Urban Park, and it happens to be pretty close to where I grew up in the Stouffville and Uxbridge area, and it extends all the way down to Lake Ontario. For my ride today, I'm hoping to stay pretty much in the park for the majority of my biking. While this park is called an urban park, it's established beside urban areas in a lot of agricultural spaces. So a lot of the walking trails and pathways, day use areas, parallel farmers' fields that are still in operation today. It's a pretty interesting national park in that way. Not like heading to a forest or lake or river, but through agricultural spaces. Because of how close it is to urban areas, is, in my understanding, pretty heavily used. Lots of little bridges and pathways made to get through some of the fence rows, rivers, and obstacles along the way. It's a really beautifully made park. I mentioned this pathway goes through farmland, and you can see from these signs that it's still farmed today, and sometimes the pathways are farm lanes that are still in use. I feel really rooted and grounded here. The Weidman family arrived over 200 years ago to this spot, and have been farming in this area, so I know lots of friends and family members who have had a literal impact on this region and this soil in many different ways. Of course, every once in a while there are street crossings, but they are pretty clearly marked and allow you to get across the road safely. So one of the issues with it being a relatively new park is that there are some sections that don't have a way to get through to the next one. And this is an example. I'm here at 16th Avenue on the Central Trail. You can take it down further, but it ends here just before Highway 7, and the next part of the path continues down here. So I guess there's still some work to be done. I don't know if that's intentional to not make it a throughway for cyclists like me, but at this stop I'm gonna have to either go down this trail and turn around, or hop on a side road and navigate that way. I can certainly move a lot faster on these surface streets, but it's a shame that the pathway is just over my shoulder there. Just doesn't connect all the way through the way I need it to. I'm back on the path. This part appears to be paved, at least this little section. It's kind of a funny little flip that I'm doing because again, the road that I was just on, Reeser Road, runs parallel here, and to stay in the park is probably the slower way to go because it's not as direct, but certainly far more beautiful and really nice not to have to deal with any cars, especially ones that drive too fast. I'm glad I got off the road, if not for just this little section here, going through some beautiful forest, sides stepping away from farmland for just a bit, and getting a little shade. It's really nice in here, this little section. Well, I got a little off my route, and the suggested route is this single track, oh boy, mountain bike trail So it's a good thing. It's a good thing I am traveling on my gravel bike, because it is a not a cared for, maintained, groomed path, but a well, it's an adventure, and hopefully it gets me back. While maybe not ideal, this is really a beautiful pathway back through these woods. Pretty neat. Speaking of rootedness, that's one of the area Mennonite churches. Rouge Valley Mennonite Church shares its name with Rouge Park that we are biking through today, and one of the churches that made up the youth group that I belong to as a high schooler as well. I didn't realize it was so close to the route, but pretty fun to go by that little part of my youth. Some of these more single tracky areas are definitely less used than the ones that have groomed paths. They're also buggier and have a little bit more hike-a-bike to them. There's certainly sections of this trail that, although they're marked as mixed use, are far more clearly used by hikers and not bikers. So I'm getting by with my Google GPS map and awareness of the area and some other kind of roundabout ways to map my way. Yeah, it's clear that there's still not an agreed upon north to south or south to north cycling route for Rouge Park, but it's sort of possible. I'm making it up as I... Okay, so clearly not meant to be traversed this way. I'm still in Rouge Park, but I lost my trail back there, and the best way to get back to a trail or road is to cross this old railway bridge, which I think may still be in use. So I'm gonna hurry scurry along here as quick as I can to get back to safety. Okay, I'm back on the road. I'm glad to see I'm not the only person struggling to find their way here. It looks like a hockey bus, Sarnia Sting, also struggling to get through here. Starting to smell a little like manure, but not farm manure, zoo manure. That's right, the Rouge Park goes right next to the Toronto Zoo. And it's kind of fun to be zipping along by the animals. There's a pretty fantastic bike path down this part of the Rouge. It parallels the roads. It doesn't feel quite as lovely as going through farmland, but nice to get away from cars again. This bridge that I'm crossing now is right over the Rouge River, for which this park is named. Pretty neat to cross that over. Rouge River Farms is a sweet corn farm in southern Ontario that I worked at through high school and college as well. Lots of connections. So I'm just about at the end here. Rouge Park, interestingly enough, ends at Lake Ontario at Rouge Beach, and I think I'm getting pretty close. I can smell the lake air here. I did make it. It's a beautiful day here at the beach at Lake Ontario. It took me way longer than I thought it would, but it was a lot of fun to try that. And I don't think I'll take the same route home or back to my parents' house. I'll take a few more surface streets and a little less choose your own adventure. Got some lunch and I'm heading back. It's definitely a bit of a different ride home, kind of going through suburbia now. And now pretty quickly into rural. Nice mailbox. A little turtle resting from the road.
Turtle. He's probably going to stay in the shell for a little bit until he feels
So just back there I saw a sign for butter tarts. Didn't have any cash, but a very friendly Canadian was also there who decided to take pity on me and bought me a butter tart. I get a little snack here on my way back. Enjoy one fine Canadian delicacy, a butter tart. That's awesome. It's interesting, even though I've come back on surface streets, I have remained in or near Rouge Park. It's a lot faster this way, but I do miss the pathways, and I'm thinking I might try and get on it again for the last little bit. Okay, I'm back on the trail. You'll tell by my mileage map at the end, not exactly the smoothest way to go, or the most direct, but it was really beautiful and a lot of fun to travel through Rouge Park a couple of different ways. Just about back now. Thanks again for watching and for following along.